Hello again. In the usual way of things, progressive and left-wing people in Britain are generally against banks. The executives at such places are routinely given huge bonuses. The managing directors take home millions of pounds a year in salaries. And of course they exploit the poor and are constitutionally greedy and unscrupulous. This, in brief, is the popular view of the case among right-thinking people in this country. Oh, and of course they're always fiddling their taxes. And some of them, NatWest for instance, are partly owned by the state. Shocking. All this hostility towards banks fades away like the morning dew, though, when it is discovered that the manager of one of them doesn't like Nigel Farage. Working, I suppose, on the old Arab principle that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, left-wingers have now fallen in love with Coutts Bank and its wealthy chief executive, Dame Alison Rose, who, by the way, is paid more than £5 million a year. Nice work if you can get it. She is just the kind of bloated and overpaid person in banking that the left usually love to hate. But since closing Nigel Farage's bank account, she's become their pin-up girl. They can't get enough of her. How they love reading that Farage was described by the bank she runs as a disingenuous grifter and a racist and xenophobe. Ha! That's the right spirit. This whole episode serves to show the sheer emptiness and paucity of left-wing ideology in Britain and reveals to us that at its centre is a hollow space. It is not really an ideology at all, but rather a collection of prejudices and petty grievances, more concerned with individual hatred than with high-minded principles. I have no objection at all to people who loathe banks and feel that these organisations thrive on ripping people off. Nor would I disagree with those who claim that bankers are greedy and corrupt. These are perfectly reasonable positions to hold, although I don't wholly support them myself. But when I see one of the wealthiest of this crew being praised in tweets from socialists and applauded for her principles, it is enough to make me feel a little queasy. Coutts Bank is the one used by the late Queen, of course. It is the epitome of the exclusive bank for the wealthy and privileged. You have to have at least £1 million with them to keep your account open, so it's not really for the likes of you and me. Most of us know this, and even among people like me who believe in a free market, Coutts is viewed as very much a place for snobs and rich aristocratic types. That it should be this bank out of all the banks in the country that should suddenly become the darling of the liberal left is what I find most amazing. All it takes, it seems, to rehabilitate yourself in the eyes of those people is to start slagging off one individual like Nigel Farage, and suddenly you are an acceptable establishment with the right idea about things. It's all about personalities and personal spite, and nothing at all to do with actual ideas and principles. Of course, many of us already knew this, but it's always good to see it confirmed in such an unequivocal fashion. It doesn't matter if you're one of the most highly paid bankers in the country, as long as you denounce Nigel Farage and utter the magic words equality, diversity and inclusion, then socialists all over Britain will fall in love with you.